The hits.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. Here are the news headlines making the rounds at this hour from Yes Media Academy Radio. I am Temiloluwa Oyetunde. The House of Representatives has vowed to stop ministries, departments, and agencies of the federal government who divert revenues they are supposed to remit to the federal account. The Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, made the vow in Abuja today at a public hearing on the 2021 to 2023 Medium-Term Expenditure Framework and Fiscal Strategy paper organized by the House. Gbajabiamila said, and I quote, "All of us in the House of Representatives recognize that the challenges we now face will not abate in the medium term. Yet, we are committed to using the appropriations process as a tool for accomplishing our nation's most pressing development objectives. We have a responsibility to act with urgent determination to build the infrastructure of opportunity that is required to lift millions of our fellow citizens out of poverty." Security has been tightened around the Senate building of the University of Lagos, UNILAG, as its Senate meets at the Ade Ajayi main auditorium to discuss the sudden removal of Professor Oluwatoyin Ogundipe as Vice-Chancellor by the Governing Council in Abuja on Wednesday. Professor Theophilus Shoyombo of the Faculty of Science was announced as the acting Vice-Chancellor in the wee hours of today by the Registrar and Secretary to Council, Mr. Oladejo Aziz. According to observation on access to the Senate building, the administrative hub of the university, housing the offices of the Vice-Chancellor, other principal officers as well as the Senate chamber, was restricted. Visitors and members of staff without offices in the building were not allowed in. The situation may have forced the Senate to move its meeting, which is ongoing, to the main auditorium. Members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, are also scheduled to hold a congress to debate Ogundipe's removal. We learned ASU want Shoyombo not to resume as acting vice-chancellor. However, a source said Shoyombo described his appointment as a call to service. Command in Niger says 14 persons have been killed by gunmen at Ukuru village in Marika local government area of the state. The command's public relations officer, ASP Wasiu Abiodun, disclosed this in a statement today in Minna. Abiodun said on August 12 at about 3:30 p.m. that the command was informed that gunmen invaded Ukuru village and opened fire on the natives and rustled several cattle in the process. He said that at the end of the shooting, 14 people were confirmed dead, while 5 others sustained various degrees of injury. He said that the injured were receiving treatment at Mariga General Hospital. The police spokesman added that policemen and local vigilante were on the trail of the alleged cattle rustlers. The battle of supremacy between Anambra Governor Willie Obiano and the traditional rulers has heightened tension in the state. Obiano suspended 12 more traditional rulers for visiting President Muhammadu Buhari last week. He had suspended monarch of Ukulu, Igwe Peter Unyawa, over alleged petitions from his community. He also withdrew the monarch's certificate of recognition. The one-year suspension claimed on the monarchs, according to a statement, was for embarking on a visit to President Muhammadu Buhari without consultation or approval from the government. And on the foreign scene, a senior leader of the outlawed Muslim Brotherhood died today in an Egyptian prison where he was serving multiple sentences, including on terror-related charges, his lawyer said. Essam al-Erian, 66, was arrested in 2013 following the army's ouster of Islamist President Mohamed Morsi on the back of mass protests against his brief rule. The authorities notified of his death and informed his family to arrange receiving his body for burial, lawyer Abdulmonim Abdulmaksud stated. And finally, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris launched their joint White House bid yesterday, with the newly minted vice presidential nominee saying Americans are crying out for leadership to overcome the triple crisis of a pandemic, racial injustice, and a ravaged economy. Making their first appearance as running mates before a small crowd of reporters and staffers at the Delaware High School closed to the public due to coronavirus concerns, the Democratic duo vowed to end Donald Trump's presidency and, in Biden's words, rebuild the country. Kamala Harris, a formidable 55-year-old U.S. Senator from California and a daughter of immigrants. Harris has already made history as the first woman of color tapped for a major party presidential ticket. And that will be all on the news headlines at 4 p.m. Join us by 6 p.m. for our comprehensive news details.